Yo, 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 we're back. All right, man. Here to recap the first weekend of NBA playoff basketball, man. So let's start with the Saturday games. We had total 8 games this weekend, man. Amazing. Love to watch basketball at this time, man. So let's go ahead and get started. So first, gonna get the two easy games out of the way. Sixers handle the Nets, and the Celtics handle the Hawks. So I think in my prediction video, I had sweeps for both of those. Or I think I had Brooklyn getting at least one, but it appears Joel Embiid, James Harden had a masterclass of a game, 7 threes that he made. Do we get that again? I don't think so, but either way, they still won by 20 points, right? I think they're able to get productions elsewhere. One bright spot was that the third leading scorer, and if you guys have been following me for a long time, just in general, House of Itis Sports podcast, I mentioned last year, in order for the Sixers to do what they need to do, they need to make Tobias Harris the third option and not make him the fourth. A lot of times last year, I think where they messed up is they made Tyrese Maxey the third option instead of Tobias Harris. Tyrese can get his points at any time. Tobias needs to get in rhythm, has to have sets ran for him, and when you do that, you will be productive as a team. Because Tyrese, again, he can come off the bench, he can start. He's a spark. He can get his. He's in the microwave. He can get his real quick whenever he needs it. Out on transition, it doesn't matter, right? But I don't know what this next team is going to do. I just don't think they have enough firepower to last this team. So I think the series will be over fairly quickly. Same thing with the Atlanta Hawks. I think Boston is just too much for the Atlanta Hawks. There's too much star power, too much versatility, too much depth. I just like the Celtics to easily get this series over with in 4. Next, we go to the Cavs versus the Knicks. And if you watch my prediction video, I believe I had the Cavs in 6. This one here we got Donovan Mitchell taking over in the fourth quarter. We got great production from Donovan Mitchell. Darius Garland he had 17 points. I've been saying this all year. I need Darius Garland to be more aggressive. And if you watch Cavs games, it's like Donovan Mitchell waits for the others to do what they need to do because he can get hits at any time. But then he's like, all right, now I need to take over. And I feel like Darius Garland plays a little too passive for me. But one thing the Knicks did get was a amazing fourth quarter by Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson had an amazing fourth quarter, was able to close out the game and finish the game. But the most important thing and most surprising thing for me was the Knicks out-rebounded the Cavs 51-38. And the Cavs have what we consider the Twin Towers, 2 6'11", 7-footers. And in that fourth quarter, especially at the end of the game, you just saw offensive rebound after offensive rebound after offensive rebound. I mean, even though Jared Allen and Evan Mobley both had 11 or 14 rebounds, towards the end of the game, they couldn't keep the Knicks off of the offensive glass. And that's been a huge plus for the Knicks throughout the season, is that they really hustle and get to the offensive glass. You know, Donovan Mitchell put up 5 rebounds, but it's like, you need more team rebounding, need more boxing out. Fundamentals, man. You can't win the game without rebounding the ball. We saw that in the Heat game, in the play-in versus the Hawks, and we just seen this again. Like, at the end of the day, the fundamentals of basketball always come down to you winning the game. And I think if they're able to get rebounds and limit offensive rebounds, they will be okay for the remainder of the series. But I also do think I need Darius Garland to be a little bit more aggressive. Like, Donovan Mitchell taking 30 shots and then Evan Mobley and Darius Garland have the same amount of shots, to me, that doesn't sit well with me. I think if you could get Mitchell to have 23 to 25 shots, Darius Garland to have 20-plus shots a game, I know that's not his game. Not even 20. Just get him to like 18. Around 15 to 18 shots a game, then I feel a lot more comfortable with how this Cavs team will be. The other issue with the Cavs team is that their bench outside of Karis LeVert is really non-existent. Cedi Osman, Ricky Rubio is a little too old for my liking. While the Knicks, on the other hand, have a really, really good bench. You saw Obi Toppin come in and give you some really good minutes. Josh Hart gave you a double-double, 17 and 10. Did a good job guarding Donovan Mitchell as well, or the best to his ability. And yeah, I think that this is a Going to be a tougher matchup. This might go 7 just because of I really slept on the depth of the New York Knicks, which they really have a lot of that, which when those minutes come down, like Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, and Jared Allen all play 40-plus minutes. How long can they continue to do that? If they have to do that for a 7-game series, that next matchup versus whoever they have to play won't be kind to them as well. So, that is my Cavs Knicks recap. Now, this Warriors-Kings, man. Warriors-Kings, this was a really good game from start to finish. Steph gave you 30. De'Aaron Fox gave you damn near 40 with 38. And then Malik Monk off the bench, 32. I know in my prediction video I said, hey, if Malik Monk can give you some really good production off the bench, this is going to be really good. Between him and Trey Lyles, they give you 48 points off the bench. That's a lot. That's really a lot. And at the end of the day, they just have no one to guard De'Aaron Fox, Mr. Clutch himself, especially in the second half, because it's easy to guard somebody in the first half when you're got your win, you're going, but when the game weighs on and you get tired and that guy doesn't because he moves around, it's crazy. It's actually funny because De'Aaron Fox said he guarded Steph for some periods, and he was like that clip that J.R. Smith brought out where he said Deli almost died. He said that is real because the off-ball movement of Steph is what makes him one of the best players that ever played this game. Because he moves around, he can get you on the dribble. He tires you out just from running around, and then when he finally gets the ball, you're already exhausted. So I still have the Kings in 6 on this one. I'm happy they were to get game 1. Let's see what happened on tonight. So now let's get over to the Sunday games. Lakers beat Grizzlies. So the Lakers beat Grizzlies 128-112. Really good dominating performance from AD as far as him being in the paint and holding his own in paint. I believe he had like 6 blocks, 7 blocks from AD. Bron, he looked okay. But the real heroes of the game are Rui Hachimura and Austin Reeves. Rui in the third quarter took over. I don't know after the third 3 why you keep leaving him open. He goes 11 for 14. Hits a big shot in the fourth quarter as well. But Hillbilly Kobe, AR-15 himself, man, he took over in that fourth quarter. Had over 14 points in the fourth quarter. Like, that's what you want from the Lakers, production-wise, from your bench players and your role players. D'Angelo Russell had a 19-point game as well. That's what you like to see. That's what you like to get from those guys. Are you going to continually get that? No. But when AD and Bron only have to score 22 to 21 points in some games and series and you win, that's how you reserve those guys. We got a scare. We thought AD say he couldn't move his arm. He probably got a stinger. You played football like myself. You know what a stinger feels like. You definitely feel like you can't move your arm. But, yeah, man, dominating performance. Ja got hurt. He had to sit out the remainder of I believe he didn't play majority of the fourth quarter. But Jaren Jackson looked very impressive to me, man. He had a dominating performance inside the paint, from a production point wise, and even obviously his defensive presence. But if there's no John Morant, the X-rays did come back negative, so he should be there. But if he's hampered a little bit, I don't know how to feel. Regardless, I had the Lakers winning, I believe, in 6. So I got the Lakers still winning the series, but this should be a very interesting series. Bron didn't have his best game, and the Lakers still win by over 16 points. So I'm excited to see what comes from that. The next game, you had the Heat stealing game 1 and home court advantage from the Bucks. In this game, we did have 2 big injuries for both teams. Obviously, Giannis, who's considered the best player in the world, got injured back in Tuesday. He missed pretty much the majority of the second half and a good part of the second quarter. And then Tyler Hero literally broke his hand hustling for a ball and then attempted a 3 right after. But this game was just vintage Jimmy from start to beginning. 35 points from Jimmy Butler. Bam had 22, but it was like the weakest 22 I've ever seen. I think I became a Bam hater, but he did show up for us. Obviously, Gabe Vincent in the fourth quarter hit some really good big shots as well. So this is going to be an interesting series, especially to see how long Giannis lasts. He only played 11 minutes today. I expect him to be back next game, or at least by game 3 or 4. So it's going to be a very interesting series. As a Heat fan, I did pick the Bucks. And right now, I'm still sticking with the Bucks in 6, but don't let Miami win Game 2. If Miami wins Game 2, I might have to change my tune. But again, vintage Jimmy Butler game. Not one 3-point shot made, but 35 points, getting into the cup, getting N1s, doing everything you need them to do. And they kept the rebounds close. That's the recipe for the Heat, is to keep the rebounds close, as we are a smaller team. They did lose the rebound in the middle, 38-36, but that's all you need. You can't have another team getting over 50 plus rebounds on you. Next game, Clippers versus Suns, and this is why I have this Russell Westbrook jersey on, man. Not jersey, but vintage tee on, man. Shout out Game Changers, LA. This might have been the best 3 for 19 performance I ever seen in my life. I was, as a Russell Westbrook fan, man. All my friends know I'm a Russell Westbrook fan. So when he plays bad, I hear it all. And he was 2 for 18, 3 for 19, and I was like, man, I don't know what to do. This is not gonna. I don't know what to do. I'm just sitting here. I'm like, I gotta get off Twitter. I gotta do all of this. Then in the fourth quarter, man, got some really good stops. And then was a tremendous playmaker. Gets the game-winning free throws, game-winning block, some offensive rebounds. And I had the Clips winning this series in 6. There's going to be no Paul George at all. But I still got the Clips winning in 6. And the thing is, at one point, there was a 22-point swing where the Suns went from down 15 to up 7. Then the Clips brought it back. We had a Kawhi masterclass to prove that he's still a fringe top 5 player in the game when he's healthy. And that's what Kawhi was, just Kawhi. He was Kawhi and everything. He was the claw. And for me, right, the Suns' depth, same thing with the Cavs. What I was speaking earlier is going to really hurt them, especially with Campaign not being able to play. Chris Paul does not look like to be the same Chris Paul. This is a game the Suns should win. You don't get the second best player on that team, who is Russell Westbrook, shooting 3 for 19 and you win. And you lose that game. You don't come back from 15 and up 7 and you lose that game. Obviously Eric Gordon had a good game as well. But just think about it. I don't think Russ is going to give you another 3 for 19. The one thing I did like about Russ, even though he went 3 for 19, he didn't turn the ball over. And that is going to be a major key throughout these entire playoffs, is for Russ to limit his turnovers. I can live with Russ giving me 2 turnovers. Anything below 4 turnovers, you can live with Russ doing. So for him to only give you 2 turnovers, still give you effort on the defensive end, that was amazing. Again, Kawhi had a masterclass, 38 points. It was beautiful. KD looks like KD, but I still don't like KD only getting 15 shots. DeAndre Ayton looked good, Zubac looked good, but I think in order for this Suns team to go far, especially with this limited depth, KD is stretches in the game where you watch it when KD's just not getting the ball, and it's just like, why isn't Kevin Durant getting the ball? He's literally the best player on your team. So KD cannot have less shots than DeAndre Ayton. I'm sorry. 3 more shots than Torrey Craig. I'm sorry. Got to do better than that. But yeah. And then we go to the last game of the day. I did not watch it, unfortunately, so I can't give you a full recap. They watched some highlights, and just felt like the Nuggets just overpowered Timberwolves, which pretty much most of us expected. So most of us pretty much expected that. So I think that series is gonna be over in about five games. I give the Timberwolves 1 game, but that's gonna be a pretty easy series. So we got game 2s coming up. So now that there's not 4 games in a day, I can actually give you guys recap videos every day. It's just, there's a lot of games going on. I was just 2 and go. I couldn't give you guys a recap after Saturday night. So you guys will get a recap tomorrow on what happened tonight. So until next time, my name is Wayne, and I go crazy. Peace.